We join with other UUs in the tradition of inviting the gong 3 times. Once, in remembrance of those who have lived, built, and nurtured this congregation before us. Once with appreciation for all of us calling it home today. And once with anticipation and hope for those who will be part of the congregation in the future. Good morning. It's April 12th, 2026. My name's Kathy Mitchell, and I'm your service leader for today. We want to welcome everyone joining us online and in person to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist congregation. Here you can be yourself, but not by yourself. Whomever you love, however you describe yourself or name the holy, you are welcome here. We especially welcome you, those of you visiting for the first time and those recently new to us and returning again. We are so glad that you are here with us today. Everyone, please stay for coffee, tea, and conversation after the service so we can all get to know one another better. We begin our service with the acknowledgement that our congregation rests on the unceded lands of Indigenous people, including the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe. Their name graces our congregation and the river that flows through this land. We make this land acknowledgement in recognition of the Cow Creek Umpqua, the Yonkalakalapuya, the Southern Malala, and other tribes that have been forcibly displaced, yet who continue to live, lead, create, and belong here. May this acknowledgement move us toward repair, relationship, and right action. As Unitarian Universalists, we are diverse in faith. We think for ourselves, and we honor how our life experience influences our beliefs. Unitarian Universalism is its own faith tradition. We come from radical roots and a long history of people who sought a faith grounded in freedom, reason, and love. We are united, not because we all believe the same thing, but because we share a commitment to seek truth, practice compassion, and build a more just and loving world. Our practices differ, our languages for the holy differ, but the tradition we share is real, a faith shaped by history, by covenant, by conscience, and by community. Announcements. There's a board meeting today at 12:30, and I believe there's another announcement.
The Unitarian t-shirts, the ones that say "Standing on the Side of Love," that were temporarily lost, have been found, and I'll put them out again today after the service.
Morning, everybody. I got an email this morning, and you may all know this, but here it is. ICE is on the agenda at the Roseburg City Council on Monday, April 13th. ICE may be coming to Roseburg. The Department of Homeland Security has been filing requests for information to lease office space in our community. And Monday's City Council meeting is our moment to respond. We need to help you to help us pack the room. Indivisible will most likely be calling on the City Council to ensure that the City of Roseburg and the Roseburg Police Department uphold the Constitution, comply with Oregon's Sanctuary Promise Act. This is about our rights, our neighbors, and our community. Monday, April 13th, tomorrow at 7 p.m., Roseburg City Hall, Council Chambers. You don't have to speak, you don't have to do anything but show up. A packed room sends a powerful message that Roseburg stands for everyone who calls this community home, and to keep ICE out. Bring a friend, bring your family. Also, I'm wearing my yellow t-shirt tomorrow, so please come and do that. And just, Pastor Eli might mention this to you, but the Eugene UU reached out to us this week to offer support, and I thought that was really wonderful. So their social justice committee reached out to us and to Indivisible to offer training and support. So.
Thank you. Much appreciation goes to our staff, our church administrator, Genevieve Gonzalez, and media director, Drake Chanter, and to our greeters today, Alan Mary Herring. In our community today, there are many children and adults, housed and unhoused, facing illness, hunger, and without shelter. Acting in compassion for those in need, our service to the larger community is to collect your donations of food and money for the Fish Food Pantry. Our church offering will be later in the service. Your contributions are greatly appreciated and will definitely be put to good use in our community.
Good morning, friends. Good morning. Good to see you all, both here in person and Marianne joining us online. Welcome. I'm Pastor Eli Poore, and it's my privilege to serve as your contract minister for this year. We light our chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism, with the following words. We light this flame in honor of the improbable miracle of this morning, that we are here, that we found each other, that of all of the possible ways this day could have gone, we choose to spend some of it here together. May this light remind us of what we sometimes forget, that being alive right now in this room is extraordinary. Thank you, Larry. Did we get it lit? Good. All right. Oh yeah, we're going strong today. So, all right, are we safe? Okay, good. So I have some opening words for you all this morning. It's a favorite poem of mine, I imagine probably a favorite of many of yours as well. It's called The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Our opening words. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And now let's sing together one of the all-time UU favorite hymns. It's number 1064, Blue Boat Home. So rise in spirit as you are willing and able, and let's sing together.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. A blue boat
Always a favorite. Now let's recite our affirmation together, which is printed in your order of service. We come together to renew our spirits, to open our hearts, to remember the strength we find in community, and to shape a more just and loving world together.
We now take time to hold what we're carrying into this day, the joys that have found us, the worries, griefs, and longings that travel with us too. If you'd like to light a candle, you're invited to come forward and form a line to the left. When you share, please give your name, and please make your words brief so everyone has a chance to share in this circle of care. We are supported by this community's gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Your support is what fuels our congregation's mission and keeps the flame of justice, community, and love burning. If you are a visitor, please be our guest and let the basket pass you by. What is given now is received in appreciation and support of our shared hopes and values. For the gifts we have received, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using these gifts to make a difference in the world and to expand our beloved community. And now we'll sing our response, From You I Receive.
So this is the third Sunday in the month and second Sunday in the month. Never mind, I was going to say that's usually our multi-gen service. It was crafted this way as a multi-generational service. So what that usually means is, although we don't have any kiddos here today, if you need to move, move. If you need to wiggle, wiggle. If you need to get up and go run around in the parking lot, please do that. So, yeah, we have a story this morning. This is called The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. It's a great one. I hope you all like it.
By Peter H. Reynolds.
Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. "There." Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the yellow. She discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting. Lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it."
Good stuff. So let's take a couple of breaths together. I'm going to ring the gong here in just a minute and open up some time for silent prayer, meditation, or just breathing and being for a moment. Let's settle into our day of rest. now Bill and I have a song for you. I'm gonna try to sing, no throwing fruit. This is one of my favorites. This is one of the first songs I played when I first got involved in music ministry. In my home congregation in Corpus Christi, and it's Holy Now by Peter Mayer. I'm sure you all have heard it.
I have a good idea.
Do we need the mic here?
Yeah, it's just not working.
Just one sec while we tech never.
That it'll be fine.
Okay. Hold this for you. So Bill's mandolin that he has here is from what year?
1917.
1917. So it's quite an instrument, and it's a joy to hear.
All I have to do is get this to tighten up and not quit spinning. We'll be good. There we go. Let's try that.
You good? All right, here's Holy Now. When I was a kid each week, Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. And he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely with my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk with the reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Well, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I'll tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me wanna bow my head. I remember when church let out. Things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. Used to be a world out there, heaven second-rate, hand me down. But I walk with the reverend air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Thank you, Bill. So, good morning, everyone. I'm really glad that you're here today. And I mean that simply, and I mean that completely. I'm glad that you made it to this particular morning, to this particular room with these particular people beside you. So that's where we're starting today, right here, with the stubborn, improbable, sometimes painful, sometimes luminous fact that we are all here. So we're going to talk about wonder this morning, and not necessarily the easy kind, not wonder as something reserved for mountaintops and walks in the forest and walks on the beach and perfect days, but wonder as intention, wonder as a practice, wonder as something that we have to choose, especially when the process of that choosing is hard. So I'm doing something a little bit different today. I have a couple of videos that I want to share with you. And then at the end, we're going to share some jelly beans. So bear with me. I promise it'll all make sense. So to start off, I want to introduce you to someone in case you haven't met him. And that person is Maurice Sendak. I'm a fan. Maurice Sendak wrote and illustrated Where the Wild Things Are, In the Night Kitchen, and a bunch of other things. One of the, Where the Wild Things Are, of course, is one of the most beloved children's books ever made, one of my particular favorites, so much so that I have a Where the Wild Things Are tattoo. But he was never really a children's book author in the way we usually mean that. He was a man who took children seriously, who understood that children know things about fear and joy and longing and wildness inside us that adults sometimes mostly learn how to pretend that we don't feel anymore. He was brilliant and a little bit subversive too. He was also someone who had known grief his whole life. He lost friends in the Holocaust as a child. He lost his partner of 50 years. He lived with this awareness of death the way some people live with a chronic illness, always present, always informing how he moved through the world. So in 2011, not long before he died, he gave an interview to Terry Gross on Fresh Air on NPR. And it was one of those conversations where someone tells the whole truth about love, about loss, about what it means to be alive, especially as we know that it's ending. So I heard this interview live not long after I was released from incarceration. I was trying to figure out what kind of life was still possible for me. And something he said broke open in me that needed to be broken open. And I'll let you tell you himself. This is an illustrated selection from someone else who heard that same recording live and who was moved by it in a similar way. So this is an illustrated talk with Maurice Sendak. I'm going to turn the lights down just a little bit.
I think having friends who die, getting older, getting closer toward the end of life tests people's faith, and it also tests people's atheism. It sounds like your atheism is staying strong.
Is what?
Staying strong.
Yes. I'm not unhappy about becoming old. I'm not unhappy about what must be. It makes me cry only when I see my friends go before me and life is emptied. I don't believe in an afterlife, but I still fully expect to see my brother again. And it's like a dream life. I am reading a biography of Samuel Poore, which was written by a woman in England. I can't remember her name. And it's sort of how I feel now when he was just beginning to gain his strength as a creative man and beginning to see nature. But he believed in God, you see, and he believed in heaven, and he believed in hell. Goodness gracious, that must have made life much easier. It's harder for us non-believers, but you know, there's something I'm finding out as I'm aging, that I am in love with the world. As I look right now, as we speak together out my window in my studio, and I see my trees, my beautiful, beautiful maples that are hundreds of years old, that they're beautiful. And you see, I can see how beautiful they are. I can take time to see how beautiful they are. It is a blessing to get old. It is a blessing to find the time to do the things, to read the books, to listen to the music. You know, I don't think I'm rationalizing anything. I really don't, since this is all inevitable and I have no control over it. I have nothing but praise now, really, for my life. I'm not unhappy. I cry a lot because I miss people. I cry a lot because they die and I can't stop them. They leave me, and I love them more. But I have my young people here, 4 of them, who are studying, and they look at me as somebody who knows everything of 4 kids. Oh God, there are so many beautiful things in the world which I will have to leave when I die, but I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
Well, listen,
you know, I have to tell you something.
Go ahead.
You are the only person I have ever dealt with in terms of being interviewed or talking to who brings this out in me. There is something very unique and special in you, which I so trust. When I heard that you were going to interview me, that you wanted to, I was really, really pleased.
Well, I'm really glad we got the chance to speak, because when I heard you had a book coming out, I thought, what a good excuse
Well,
to call up Maurice Sendak and have a chat.
Yes, that's what we always do, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it
what
is.
we've always done.
It is.
Thank God we're still around to do it.
Yes.
And almost certainly I'll go before you go. So I won't have to miss you.
Oh, God, what a...
And I don't know whether I'll do another book or not. I might. It doesn't matter. I'm a happy old man. But I will cry my way all the way to the grave.
Well, I'm so glad you have a new book. I'm really glad we had a chance to talk.
I am too.
And I wish you all good things.
I wish you all good things. Live your life, live your life, live your life.
It's a lovely, lovely interview. And if you haven't heard it, definitely take some time to go and listen to the whole thing. So I want to make a switch, a little bit of a transition here, and start with something that might seem a little strange, maybe not so strange for us use, but I want to talk about math. So scientists who study probability and the origins of life have tried to calculate the odds that any of us exist exactly as we are, with these bodies, with our histories, with the particular arrangements that makes everything that makes us us. And the estimates around this vary. Some put it at 1 in 10 to the power of 2.6 million. So that's 1 in 10 with 2.6 million zeros. And others have gone even further. The numbers in this get so large, it's beyond comprehension, and it really stops meaning anything in ordinary language. And what they're accounting for is everything. The billions of years of stars burning and dying so that the right elements existed, the formation of this particular planet in this particular position, the emergence of life itself, which, as far as we know and know life, has happened exactly once in the observable universe. The unbroken chain of your ancestors, generation after generation, surviving long enough to reproduce through famine, through war, through plague, through all the ordinary disasters of being alive. The specific meeting of the specific people who became your parents. The specific moment of your conception out of millions of possible combinations. All of it exactly in this right order at exactly the right time, producing exactly you. And then there are the endless string of circumstances that brought us all here together right now in this room. And when I think of all of the things that had to happen in order for all of us to come together here, it's stunning. All of the things that had to line up over and over again to bring us to this particular moment right now here together. The odds are so small that they are essentially impossible. And yet, here you are, here we are, together. I don't say that to make us feel special in kind of this greeting card way. I say it because I think we forget so much of the time what an extraordinary thing it is to simply be here, to be alive in a body, in a room, breathing, capable of feeling something. We spend so much of our lives sometimes managing the difficulty of existence that it's hard sometimes to stop and be astonished by the miracle of our existence itself. And that's something that Maurice Sendak didn't forget. What I heard in the interview, what I needed to hear coming out of the spaces I was coming out of incarceration, coming out of street economies, was that you don't have to resolve the grief. You don't have to have everything together before you can love the world. Sendak, you don't have to wait until you're healed before you're allowed to be astonished. We don't have to wait until everything's perfect to notice this miracle of our existence. And Sendak wasn't soft about any of it. He didn't believe in an afterlife. He wasn't waiting for something better to come along, some future state where everything would line up cleanly and the world would finally make sense. And some of us do believe in that, and that's okay. What I took from that interview was how much he loved this world and how much that sense that there was nothing that comes after made that all the more potent. He loved this world, this difficult, heartbreaking, beautiful world with everything that he had. And he grieved the people that he had lost with the same ferocity that he loved them with too. And that's what love does, right? It doesn't disappear when the person does. It finds somewhere else to live. So I know all of us know what it is to experience loss, and there are some folks here that are carrying some recent grief or some recent losses that are still close to the surface. Some of us are carrying older losses, ones that have kind of moved more into our bones, that don't always announce themselves, but they still shape the way that we move through the world. And some of us are grieving things that are harder to name, a relationship that changed, a version of our life maybe that didn't come to be in the way that maybe we wanted to, a sense of safety or certainty that feels more fragile than it once did. And some of us, many of us, are carrying the weight of the world itself, this sort of slow accumulating grief of watching harm unfold and feeling how much is at stake, and of loving a world that doesn't always know how to care for its people. And some of you may not be feeling grief at all, but if you have ever loved, if you have ever hoped, if you've ever risked, if you've ever been changed by another person, then you have been touched by this in some way. It's part of what it means to be alive in this world together. So wherever you find yourself this morning, whether the grief is sharp or quiet, recent or long-held, named or unnamed, there's room here. And I'm not going to tell you that loss is secretly beautiful, that grief is a gift, or that everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in any of that. What I believe, and what Sendak believed in his own fierce way, is that the people that we love are still with us. Not in some vague or abstract sense, but in the most concrete sense that I know of. They changed us. They're woven into how we see, how we love, what we notice, what we can't let go of. And the fact that they were a part of our lives is a miracle too. So when you pay attention to a morning like this one, when you let yourself feel the strange gift of being in a room full of all of these people who chose to show up in the midst of all of the circumstances that brought us together, we're in some way seeing through the eyes that have been shaped by everyone that we all have ever loved. And that's not nothing. So let me tell you a story. I mentioned this earlier. Many of you know, quite a few years ago, I was incarcerated, and I was in a Texas prison. And at one point, I was assigned to what they call the field squad. And this is basically the modern-day chain gang. We were marched out into the fields, watched by guards on horsebacks, rifles at the ready, and it was not a coveted assignment. I'll say that. So I had begun reconnecting with a meditation practice during my time in prison, and would, when I was mopping the floor or doing ordinary things, I would do sort of breathing and moving meditations. So one day out in the fields, in the field squad, we were planting potatoes, and it was cool and rainy. And if I close my eyes, I can still see sort of the green of those fields and the contrast of the gray of the sky with everything stubbornly and almost defiantly alive, right? Surrounded on all sides by all of these prisons, this concrete and this razor wire and picket towers. We worked with these really heavy, it's like a giant garden hoe that we called an Aggie. They weighed probably 10 or 15 pounds, or about this wide. Moving up and down these rows that seemed to go on forever. It was a really monotonous work designed, I think, to sort of grind people down and certainly dehumanize folks. But as I moved up and down these rows, covering these potatoes, I sort of fell into this rhythm, and it was kind of a swing, swing, breathe in, swing, swing, breathe out, cover the potato with dirt. And I kept going, and as I did, something began to open, not because where I was disappeared, not because the injustice evaporated, but because for a moment I felt all of it, and I was a part of it. I was held by it. The growing field, this heavy sky, the people beside me bent over these rows of earth, this pulse of life refusing to surrender even there. And to date, it's one of the most powerful meditation experiences I've ever experienced, and I think in part because of the contrast. The sacred was not somewhere else, even there. It was in the dirt under my boots. It was in the breath moving through my body. It was in the person next to me, still alive, still here, still planting something into the ground, even when nothing about the situation suggested it was worth planting. And I come back to that over and over and over again, that the sacred doesn't wait for our circumstances to improve. It doesn't require a perfect morning or an unbroken heart or a life that has always gone the way we planned. It shows up anyway, and wonder can show up there too, in the rainy field, in the difficult conversation, in the hospital room, in the grief that won't quite leave, in the ordinary Tuesday that turns out without warning to be the last one. It shows up wherever we are paying attention. And we're often not paying attention, which is why we need each other. We are not meant to hold any of this alone. We are not meant to hold wonder alone, not grief. We're not meant to figure out what to do with our improbable, unrepeatable lives in isolation. So the person sitting next to you, they're carrying something, a loss maybe, a fear, a question they haven't quite found words for yet, or maybe just the ordinary, extraordinary weight of being alive in a world that sometimes asks a lot of us. And you are carrying something too. And somehow, against odds so astronomical they stop making sense, we all ended up again here in this room together on this particular morning. And I want to say again, that is not nothing. That is a miracle that we sometimes forget to notice. We don't have to earn wonder. We don't have to be healed before we're allowed to be astonished. We just have to show up, pay attention, and let each other in. And that's what we're doing here this morning. So I have a second video here, and I just love this one. This is Your Life in Jellybeans by a creator called Z. Frank. So let's take a look at this.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities. And another 720 days will go to community activities, like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
So I am going to pass out some jelly beans. Take one or take a handful. They're jelly bellies, so if you like them, take a couple. But hold on to one of them at least. So as we're passing these out, as you're getting your jelly bean, hold at least one back. If you've already eaten it, that's totally fine. But take a moment to look at it. Notice its color, feel its smallness in your hand. So this is a day. Wait till they go back around here. So this is a day, this one small jelly bean, an ordinary and unrepeatable day. And you get to decide what you do with it. Maybe you decide to plant it, literally, in the soil outside, as a wish or as a prayer or just as a small act of hope. Maybe you'll carry it with you for a while as a reminder of the wonder and the miracle of these days that we're given. Maybe you'll have it as a reminder when something gets hard. Maybe you eat it right now. And let that be enough, because joy is sacred too, especially joy. Whatever you do with it, let it remind you of something. You have days remaining, not infinite days, but real ones, yours, full of possibility and ordinariness, and the people sitting next to you right now, families and friends and community. So what will you do with your one wild and precious day? What will you do with your wild and precious life? You don't have to answer that today. Carry that question, let it live somewhere close. And when the hard Tuesday comes, when the grief shows up, when the world feels heavy, remember what Sendak knew. Remember what the green field taught me. Something is always growing, and we were never meant to do any of this alone. We are all miracles. Go in peace. Let's take good care of each other and treasure those days. Blessed be.
We now take time for questions, comments, responses from all of you.
Thank you, Pastor Eli, for reminding me of what's really worthwhile. And I needed that. I needed that very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I did too. Sometimes I write these things for myself too, right? and I think we all need to be reminded of how precious we really are, how precious our lives are, how precious this community is, and choose to be astonished by that, even when it's sometimes hard, especially then. Thank you. right, friends. Oh,
Thank you for that this morning, and I'll have to say, I put that jelly bean in my mouth, and that was the worst tasting jelly bean I have ever tasted.
there are some more. If you got a
And-
flavor you didn't like, there are some more up here.
Well, it really is a lesson.
Yeah.
Life, you expect something from life, and you get just the opposite, and just to waller it around a while and hope for it to pass, and when it does, you feel happy.
Absolutely,
So, yes.
absolutely. So I considered at one point, I don't know if you all have seen it's based off of the Harry Potter book, but it's the every flavor beans. And so there's a jelly bean challenge, and I did this with my kids. And so they're nice ones, and then there's some that are like earwax or booger like just it's awful. So I've considered doing it that way, but that seems a little cruel. So yeah, if you got a flavor you didn't like, there are plenty more. Please come grab another one, take one with you, give them to a friend, and yeah, thank you for that. Yeah,
It's
sometime.
called bamboozled.
Yes, bamboozled. That's it. Thank you, that's exactly it. All right, friends, let's extinguish our chalice, but not the one. Well, we do have a closing song. Yeah. Yeah, let's shut off the chalice and then we'll sing. How about that? So. Oh, well, we're done then. Let's sing, y'all.
We need to work on our chalice.
I'd like you to join me in singing Life Calls Us On. The choir's going to sing with us on melody the first time, but after that, they're all backup parts, and you are the ones that have to supply the melody. So please, sing out.
With a pledge to one another.
Go in peace, go in wonder, go in community. Blessed be.
And join in our closing circle.
And yes, now let's sing our closing circle.